Francis, Gordon, how's it going?
Um, oh, it's going. Just another
One
night of Tom delaying us.
tomfoolery, perhaps.
Tom Foolery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. I like being delayed once in a while.
Every
Just
time
like
Tom sets a 7 p.m. start on a Sunday, he cooks dinner at 6:45.
That's exactly when I started cooking dinner.
he just reminds us that we're not in control.
Yeah.
Just he is the deity
I
in
am.
our mere
Well,
mortal
yeah.
existence.
Although I do consider myself pretty cool, but maybe not as cool as Tom Cruise.
I do declare. Speaking of Tom,
Speaking of Tom Cruise, what a great segue. Gordon, I didn't see the movie with you, but I'm assuming you've seen Top Gun, Maverick.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I've-
Were you all
Yeah,
giddy
I went.
inside when he hopped on his motorcycle in the beginning of the movie?
I didn't really care about the motorcycle. I was more excited when Jet took off the aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
danger zone.
Yeah.
There was almost just as much crotch rocket as there was jet throughout like the first 40 minutes of the movie. I was like, there's a lot of motorcycle to jet ratio here.
Yeah.
Not kind of confused.
They had to do the callbacks to the.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they
first-
kept calling and no one was answering the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Ring, ring,
I
ring.
liked it.
Motorcycle calling. No, it was good. Listen, I love the movie. First off,
Well, yeah. What did you guys think?
I thought it was incredible. Just
Yeah. I thought it was amazing. I left and wish I could have gone to a recruiting station and
yeah.
joined up again.
Faven swore she was going to go to pilot school after.
Yeah.
She goes, "You were so." Faven's my fiance for the one viewer that's going to see this.
The one viewer.
She's like, she was grabbing my arm. She was cheering. She was,
She was
Well,
cheering
If only my
pretty
papers
loud.
wouldn't have gotten pulled.
yeah.
Set me back 16 years.
Sent me back 16 years.
Gordon, we Francis and I and a few other people, we went and saw it opening night or opening weekend, and you would have thought it was a Marvel movie. How much people were cheering!
Yeah.
It was a blast.
I mean,
the
it was
thing.
definitely better than any Marvel movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. This movie really had like a nameless, faceless enemy that was just a thing in a crater that they blew up. There was no real villain. It was just that's how strong this movie was.
Mhm.
Most Marvel movies and Star Wars movies are like just as good as their villain is.
Yeah.
This didn't really have a villain that was an actor that was any sort of like known threat besides someone who was gathering up nuclear resources, and
Yeah.
it still kicked ass. So like that's an incredible feat by itself, I think.
No, I mean I
Yeah.
agree. What was your guys' favorite part of the movie?
Go first, Gordon.
Trying to think. I mean, I just liked the whole part where they were first in the sky and like Tom Cruise would show up and be like, "Good morning, aviators," and then like just fly out of nowhere and like just blast right by him, and then they'd be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Yeah, all that was incredible. Like 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think
especially-
the scene with Iceman and Maverick was awesome.
Yeah.
Like just knowing what Val Kilmer's going through, and I think there was like real emotion in there.
Yeah.
He can't speak. He had throat cancer, destroyed his voice.
Yeah.
That was a very impactful scene.
I felt like I was very surprised at the story. I rewatched the first one like the morning of, and I felt like there wasn't really a story. It was just more like watching these 25 something shirtless guys play volleyball, and sometimes they fly jets. And so I was very surprised in this one when we actually like had a story, and there was actually a lot of character development from a lot of the actors in it. So I was very impressed by that.
I mean, the first one was just like a broy movie of like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
let's go."
It was
High
Cold War days.
Yeah.
Preceding Tom Clancy. A little
Beach
bit.
First one's more
volleyball was
like-
at an all-time high.
First one's all about like nostalgia, at least for me. Like, going back, it like it doesn't have any elements of like a good movie. Like, I mean, the romance is like just a stupid little romance subplot
Yeah.
that is dumb. Like,
Great soundtrack.
great
Yeah.
soundtrack, but I mean, like,
Yeah, like an '80s. It's typical '80s, and it leads into that, like, you know, not some of all fears, but like all the Tom Clancy stuff.
and then they just get thrown into some random mission at the end of the movie, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
What
there's
happened
no
there?
like, there's no build up or like tension about it. Like you have a feeling the entire time, like none of these people aren't in any danger. Like, I mean, Goose dies. Just they had to do like, you had to have that one moment in the movie where like
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I don't trust myself anymore. I can't do it. Other than that, you didn't really have any illusions that like they weren't going to come out of the movie victorious one way or another.
Another cool thing too is I really appreciate is not any stupid twists and turns just for the sake of twists and turns. It was just like they knew what they were doing from the beginning, and that's what they worked on the whole time, and they executed. Like that was great. Like they didn't try to, no trickery, no sleight of hand, no twists just to have twists. Again, I think you can make good movies this way.
Yeah, this one just had me just more invested. Like the first one, I never felt really emotionally invested or anything in the movie or in the plot. It was just sort of like, oh, this is fun. Or this one, like I felt like I was grabbed from the beginning, and it had a lot of different emotional aspects to it. And because they had like the entire training was also part of like final mission, like you were invested in that the whole time. Whereas the first one, you're just training, and there's no like you're not invested because they're training the entire movie. So you're not like, oh, are they going to complete the mission? Are they going to do this or that? Because none of that exists until the last like 20 minutes in the movie, in the first one.
Yeah, I think this crushes the original. And
Yeah.
I mean, not only does it crush the original, but it's probably one of the best sequel movies of all time.
I'll ask you this.
And we're back after that commercial break. Sorry, my laptop ran out of storage space in the middle of a podcast.
Interwebs.
But here we are.
Yeah, we were just talking about the greatest sequel ever, question mark, 1.8
Greatest
higher sequel on the IMDb score.
Well, the original was a big cult classic, right? I mean, it's loved by everybody, but it's not that great of a movie. And I feel like this movie, it just blows the first one out of the water. But I don't know if it's going to have I don't know. So I had this thought of like it wouldn't have as big of an impact as the original.
Yeah. Agreed, because everything it's oversaturated. Movies, TV.
Right.
Right now it's oversaturated. Then,
but I think it just it just gets everybody back into this franchise again. And I mean, do you guys think they're going to make another one? Maybe following some of the other pilots that we met in this movie?
No, I don't think so. Maybe Miles Teller has something.
Yeah, I could see something with the side people. I feel like the Tom Cruise Maverick story is over, and I don't think it would.
Yeah.
I don't think you could put him in another one. And
They'll reference him, and he'll show up at a bar. Or something.
Would it be as good without Tom Cruise?
Probably not.
I guess it depends. I mean,
Tom Cruise is a legend, so if you remove him, it's inherently not as good.
Yeah, but I mean,
but it could still be great.
Yeah, I think you can still make a compelling story, and with the technology in like that the shots they're able to film with these fighter jets are like cool enough that I think if you could write a decent story,
yeah,
at least it could stand on its own without Tom Cruise.
The only issue is they hinted at it like it's almost stupid that there are actually pilots in that mission.
Yeah,
they're not needed. So I guess how do you have like a relevant modern day movie where you're still having pilot programs and still pushing for pilot ran operations and missions?
Yeah, I mean you have to suspend some amount of reality because I mean like, the whole half of the movie they were talking about the 5th generation fighters, like we're gonna be fighting the 5th generation fighters.
Yeah, TIE fighters.
They made up some BS excuse as to why they couldn't use like the U.S. 5th generation fighter, the F-35, and I mean when ultimately it's because they had to fly an aircraft that had like 2 seats in the cockpit, whereas the F-35 only has 1. So they had to make up a.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you guys think this is the 44th greatest movie ever made?
44.
It's ranked 44 on
Of
IMDb.
like every movie ever.
On IMDb, it's ranked number 44.
I think that's
Shawshank
probably
Redemption's
so.
number 1 for reference. And 50.
Where's
is Rear Window.
yeah. I mean that's I don't know. That seems
I think
about
that-
right.
I think
I'd
it's
have to
great.
go-
I
I'd
just
have
think
to
it's
go
I think it's just over, like it's over scored because of just the state of movies. I think.
Yeah.
Do you think it's
Like, if this comes out 5 years ago, it's still great. I just don't think it's scored as highly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. It's also like movie theater. Everything's back open. Like people are like trying to like back to some sort of like normalcy, and this is like a big blockbuster that everyone could go, and they didn't
Memorial
have to
Day
wear
weekend.
masks.
yeah. Big
Okay.
blockbuster.
Normal again.
Tom Cruise now.
It's also Tom Cruise. I mean, he's probably the biggest action movie star out there. I mean, maybe The Rock is close to him, but
No way.
yeah, I just
He's
feel like The
definitely
Rock
close.
is close because of the
No.
number of movies he makes. But
Yeah,
when you
but
I
watch a
think
Tom Cruise
good.
movie, it's just leagues
Not
ahead.
good.
I agree with both of you guys.
What,
As
Harrison
it
Ford
pertains
does
to
Rock.
as it pertains to history, Tom Cruise crushes The Rock. As it pertains to like modern, like current day rankings, it's closer than you think.
Yeah.
I mean, The Rock commands just as much of a, he'll pack an audience, get
Yeah.
the most amount of money for a movie.
I mean, I guess it depends if you're talking about like bankability or like what action movie star has the best movies and is the best at like what he does. Which
Right.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise also only comes out with a movie like every 3 or 4 years.
And it's Mission
and they're
Impossible.
always
And it's
legendary.
amazing. Right. Where The Rock
Yeah,
comes
I mean,
out
I
with
think-
2
I
or
think
3
you could put
movies
Tom-
every year. And they're
You
all
put
good.
Tom Cruise in like any sort of action role, and I think he's going to be good. Whereas The Rock can only play like a one-dimensional action character.
I think because The Rock only allows his brand to pursue that one-dimensional action figure.
Can't
I
hear
agree
you,
with you.
Francis.
I think he can do more. He just doesn't do more. And it's boring.
Yeah, The
No, I
Rock
mean,
takes
Tom
a lot of
Cruise-
safe roles.
Tom Cruise like even goes beyond action. He goes to like the greatest. I mean, like movie star, not just action, but just movie star ever.
Yeah.
He's got range. He's got longevity.
Yeah.
He still has it at age 79.
It's even
Yeah.
what's even crazy though is so before the Top Gun movie, before we watched it, they had the trailer for the new Mission Impossible movie, and in the trailer he's on a dirt bike, jumps off a cliff, and then he paraglides down, and it's him doing it. It's this crazy stunt, and it's just like I feel like every movie he's in is built around some crazy stunt.
Realistic.
Yeah.
Very realistic, and he I think he takes a lot of pride in that. No other actor does anything like that. Comes anywhere close to being like that. Do you think once Tom Cruise is done, we'll just never see it, or do you think someone's gonna try to do it?
I think as we get, I think more and more people are starting to do more and more stunts now that like technology is getting better, like things are getting safer, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Cruise is a Scientologist, so he's a little off his rocker. So
Yeah.
Probably.
He eats photons for breakfast.
yeah, so it probably lends itself to his like willingness to go try and film a movie in outer space.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think you'll always have in Hollywood people going back to super like method people that are into the realism, into transforming, into doing practical effects. Jurassic Park, 1993, still holds, strong to this day. Practical effects.
Yeah,
So, like,
but I
a
mean,
lot of Hollywood people are going to be that way.
if you look at all the movies now, the top 5 movies every year as far as earnings go are all superhero movies with a bunch of CGI.
just disgusting.
Yep.
So
And
if you're
lackluster.
if you're a company that's making movies, why would you do anything but that?
I don't know what has been the drought with fighter jets. Why haven't we had fighter jets in it seems like 20 years?
Because it's
I think they're
lame.
expensive. I mean, I think I was reading this, but it's like $11,000 an hour to like rent a jet from the military, basically.
Yeah, I think there was supreme cooperation between.
Yeah. Well, I
Tom
mean, they know
Cruise
their
and
recruiting numbers are
studio.
hopefully going to go up, but
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Probably why they had. Yeah, I mean it's propaganda, positive
Yeah.
and negative. Probably why they had to choose the older jet too. I mean, in addition to the 2 seats.
it's also just been hard. Like, I don't know if Tom Cruise isn't leading this movie, and like, I don't know if you get a bunch of like actors willing to just jump in the back of a F-18 and allow themselves to be like thrown around the sky.
That'd be fun.
Were they really? They were really in the jets, weren't they?
I think they were.
Yeah, they were in. Yeah, they were in the back seat, the navigator seat.
That'd be cool. I know Tom Cruise wanted to fly him.
I almost vomited in my seat at the very beginning when he's going, Mach 10.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I thought he was going to explode and die, and that was it.
You were feeling the virtual cheese there.
Yeah.
I would have walked out of the theater.
Yeah, I would have walked out. No more. No thanks. I thought, and then he lands in that like Appalachian town. I was thinking like, is this West Virginia? Is this where we're going to get the call out? We didn't get it.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if there's like
Tom
a
was,
mistake.
where was your West Virginia call out, Tom?
I don't know. Because
What'd you base it off of, Tom? You based it off of Flight Simulator, right?
You're right. I think we went to every other location besides West Virginia. So yeah, I don't know.
Mountain Mama.
Mountain Mama.
Well, let's go to outer space and talk about that Obi-Wan,
Well,
shall we?
well, let's wrap this podcast up first, and then our next episode will be about Obi-Wan. So, everybody,
Shirts.
thanks for watching.
Good segue, Francis.
Thanks.
Great segue to the next episode. But everyone, thanks for watching. Peace.